Hello, this is Edna White. I am so glad you're here with me today. Today, I want to talk to you about the benefits of journaling. Now, you know I'm a writer, and I love to write. I've been writing since I was 5, according to my mom, and I remember a couple of pieces that I've done along the way. But if you're like me, writing is something that's therapeutic. And this is how I can help you today turn journaling into something that's really, really therapeutic and really helps you figure out your own mess. You guys said it, your own mess. So I'm going to tell you what are the benefits to journaling. Okay, so journaling is just like writing, but as soon as you get the idea, as soon as it comes to your mind, you grab your pad and your pen and you start writing, or you grab your phone and start speaking into it. What does it do? It helps you reduce stress. It helps you manage your depression and anxiety. Why? Because it helps you get everything out so you can think clearly. See, when you have a lot going on in your brain and everything's, you got like 1,000 things going on, sort of like a Coke bottle being shook, and then to open it up, what do you get? You get splashes of everything all over you. So journaling helps manage that. It helps prioritize fears and concerns. See, when you write down your fears, then you know what they look like. It's just like knowing if what you have, and you don't know what it really is until you find out what it is, then you can manage it, right? It helps you prioritize your fears and your concerns, which are fears, which are real, which are fictional, and your concerns, where do they come from, right? It provides you with the opportunity to recognize your triggers. So if you're like me, or if you are going to battle this journey, right, of journaling, you need to have one in your special corner, a book, a journaling book like this, or like this, in your corner, right, where you sit down, you meditate, or you be quiet. You need to have one by the side of your bed, right? You need to have one in your car. So if you need to pull over, I keep everything in 1 or 2 books. So if I write in the books, I'm writing something that I know that I'm going to keep, and I'm prioritizing, okay? So doing all these journals, right, journaling, you're going to get some great benefits. Okay, and also allows space for positive encouragement and self-talk. So if you write down a fear, it's like fear of flying, right? Then you figure out, well, what am I really afraid of? In the fear of flying, what am I afraid of? I'm afraid that the plane will crash. Well, what's the percentile of that ever happening? What's the percentile if I drive a car and I travel? What's the percentile of that? So it makes you think more positively, or even find out where the fear came from. Is it your fear, or is it an inherited fear that your mama and the mom before and the mom before that said? Think about that. Before the plane, they probably said they didn't want to get in the car. Before they didn't get in the car, they want to get on the back of a horse. Before they didn't want to get on the back of a horse, they didn't want to walk down the street. All those things have places where they come from. So here's the benefits of writing. And I remember as a child, when I was about 5 years old, right, I would get fearful of situations in my life. So I moved here from Alabama. I moved here from living with my great-grandparents and I think my mom's cousin. And so I lived in a home that was like loving, and I was the only child there. So I was like the prize, I guess, of everyone. So I lived there, being surrounded with love, and also being taught different things that adults knew, okay, that adults had experience with. So I was always fed knowledge that didn't even know I was being fed. but I acquired it, and it made me more inquisitive. So when I got to New York, I was writing all these things down that I missed, that I wanted still. And when I got confused, I would write it down. Then it would unconfuse me, because that would be one less thing that I have to worry about, because now I wrote it down and I know what it looks like. Now I know where it comes from. And let me just say, I was 5, 6, 7 doing this. So I know that there's evidence that there's a benefit to journaling. It's not enough to convince yourself, right? That it happened, the fears are there. But the benefits of just picking up that pen and that pen or pencil, paper, chalk, lipstick, whatever, and writing down is simply the intention of revisiting your goals. And it significantly improves your mental state. So what does it do? So I remember when I was writing, or whenever I write, my blood pressure would go down. So whenever I'm excited about something, all over the place, right? And then I sit down and I focus my energy, funnel it into writing, or funnel it into voice. My blood pressure levels decrease. My mood gets better. My feelings of well-being, that I have control, feel better. My functions of my immune system, because let me just tell you this, if you're always stressed about in your head, your immune system breaks down. And what happens? You're so susceptible to more colds, more allergy situations. You get allergy responsive to allergies. I'm telling you, once I started writing, I could see the improvement in my overall health. Having communal asthma went away, because I was in my head thinking all the time. Responding to allergies, outdoor allergies totally went away. Now, of course, there's other components to that. I took care of myself, started eating right, noticing what made me allergic, and I took care of that. So, and the last point, it improves, I'm sorry, not increases, but it improves your memory. Because when I was thinking in my head, always trying to figure things out, and everything was always bothering me, never writing things down, I forgot everything. Now I write things down, I remember. If I don't write things down, possibly I don't remember. But it's like therapy. Journaling is a dedicated, not a sport, but a therapeutic healing journey. You can increase your awareness and insight just by journaling. Set aside time to write. Set aside time to just speak into the phone and turn text into words. Set aside time to de-stress. Use a tool, your phone, your tablet, your whatever it is, to de-stress. And I know you heard people say, when I come home, I de-stress myself. I give myself 30 minutes. So when I used to work in the healthcare system, I used to work till about 3 or 4, and my kids would come running up to me and say, wait, give me 30 minutes. So that way I take off my clothes, change my clothes into like something more relaxing, and I would decompress for the day. Now, how do I do that? I would think about what was good about the day. Because sometimes we take home the negative thoughts that we think during the day. And then all it does is regenerate our brain, then regenerate our attitude, and it doesn't make for a helpful solution. So when you get home, you're actually giving all that to your family. Just wanted you to know. Don't do it. So decompress, and decompressing could be writing, could be speaking into the phone. Once you take off your clothes, relax, take a shower, put on, better clothing, and think about the good things you accomplished for the day. Check that off. I did this, and get into a better mode. Okay. So here's some ideas that I think you should do with your journaling. Keep it private when you start the journal. meditate before you write. So if it's 5 or 10 or 20 minutes, 45 minutes, do that before you write. That's what happens to me. So when I sit in my meditation chair, my book corner, whatever it is, I sit there and I meditate. I sit quiet, be aware of my breathing, sit there 5, 10, and things start to come to me. I start to write. Okay? So, meditate. Date each entry. Always date it. Like, so whatever date is going on, date it. Right? Keep and reread what you write. That is powerful, because I remember looking for one of my journals and I found it and I was like, oh wait, I accomplished this, this, and this. And I'm like, now I know to go back and reread what I write. Write quickly. If you make a mistake, don't erase it. Just keep writing, keep writing. No one's looking for grammar. That can be fixed later. Or if you're on the phone and you're actually speaking into the phone, no one's looking for it to be grammatically correct right then and there. Okay? Write without censoring or editing yourself. Don't edit yourself. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you want to say. If you want to scream at somebody, if you want to curse them out, go right ahead. Give yourself permission to tell yourself the truth. What's the truth about what I feel? Am I making it up as an excuse? Am I holding on to an excuse or holding on to a reason to be this way? Be truthful. Give yourself permission. Write naturally in a way that works best for you. Don't worry about anybody else's writing. Don't worry about if you don't write like me, if you don't write like one of the bestsellers, who cares? You have your own writing style. Write the way you want to. So journaling is a rule-free zone. It's a cool way to keep, your mental health. It's a way to dabble into writing consistently for years. There's no rules. Your journal can actually become a book for you to get your message out into the world. But you won't know that until you start journaling, until you start writing things down. When you write and you start to develop your journaling techniques and your practice and your rituals and whatever you want to do to begin your focus on journaling, free write. Just set a timer, 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is, and just start writing. Then once the timer goes off, stop writing. It's called a stream of consciousness. Write. Just don't worry about what you're writing. Instead of censoring yourself, just keep writing. Write. And you know what? You won't experience writer's block when you just set it in your mind. Write. Even if you don't know what to write, I don't know what to write. And I'm writing right now. Write it. 2, write a letter. If you're healing from trauma, if you're going through divorce, if you're breaking up with someone, write a letter to the person involved. I remember one of my exercises in trauma therapy was to write the letter I would write to the person that perpetrated me. And boy, did I write it. And then I wrote a letter to my brother when I was dealing with his death and the loss of him in my life. I wrote a letter on how much I loved him and how much his passing away really made me feel. Write a letter. I wrote about forgiving and not forgiving and why I'm not going to do it. I wrote letters that made me live. And if you do that, if you write a letter that makes you live through that letter, that's what it's all about. The letters are for you. If you're dealing with your addictions, fears, anxieties, grief, depression, write a letter with big, heavy concepts. Tell your anxiety to get lost. Ask your addiction to leave you alone. Thank depression for stopping by and send it on its way. All right? Do that so that you can be looking for more motivation, more, joyous times, blissful, optimism, positivity, and perseverance. You want to be able to practice that. Write a manifesto. One of the manifestos I wrote was called the Love Manifesto, How to Love Yourself. And I wrote it to give myself life. And as I gave myself direction in loving myself, I wrote how I did it. I dedicated my time to thinking about writing those priorities. I got motivated, inspired, and the insights just from my therapy journey was on the pages, and I was like ready to draft it out, give it out to everybody. It helps you with your intentions. And then your next steps after that would be live it. Live it. LIVIT, exclamation mark. Write morning pages, write something down that's important for your morning, like your morning mantra, your morning, whatever it is. In the morning, write something out that starts your day. One of my favorite things is, I'm going to have a great day. This is going to be a great day. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And write that down. Write a morning page. Write something that gives your brain energy and doesn't drain it, right? Write something like that. Write yourself a birthday card. I always write myself something for my birthday. If it's just a regular birthday, it's not even a monumental month. A year, like the 10-year marks. I write myself a birthday letter just to check in with myself, to be vulnerable to myself, and to make me consider and keep living my dreams. Write your goals. Write them down. Keep looking at them. Remember to savor them, to integrate them in your life, in your body. Write them down so that you don't forget them. Whether it be the big three or the big five, whatever it is, you can attain it. Write it down because it's relevant to your life. And it's time sensitive. So write it down. Keep a focus journal. So, early in my trauma, and my grief, and when I was shifting around, and I created in my life a real daily routine, so that I could be successful. And that was, in the morning, I would sit down and I would meditate. So that will be part of my focus. Then I would exercise, and then I would have my breakfast or brunch. I kept this as a journal, so I began to track my personal cycles to a dedicated focus journal. And now those times are so embedded in my life that if I go out in the morning or have to go out earlier during the time I'm supposed to be meditating, I just fall back into that exercise, because I know that staying on my focusing, I know that I can achieve so much more, and it jumpstarts my healing, and it keeps me grateful for that time. Keeps me and so happy, and and it's a part of my daily routine. Use prompts. So what I mean by that is, when I first started, the phones weren't really prevalent then. I would use the famous and the ultimate, I think my granddaughter had them all, but I would use those sticky notes. The sticky notes are all over the house, everywhere. It was in my mirror. It was in my car. It was on my cabinet. It was on my, when I got dressed, on my closet door. It was on my lamp. It was kind of like the last thing I saw for the day was a sticky note, a yellow sticky note with red, green, orange, or black writing. Use prompts. Use your phone. Put away time. Set aside time to journal. Block some time off. Use, the fundamental things like Alexa's, Siri. Use them to block off time. Even your own computer. Put a time on your calendar for that. And try it for 23 days. Just to get started. Try 23 days. And I promise you, by the time those 23 days are, you would have had like this. You would have went boom. Right? And you would be able to set an actionable plan, and you'd feel a whole lot better. I'm telling you. All right? So I hope if this journaling information was helpful to you, because this is beneficial for your mind, your soul, and your spirit. Whether you're new at this healing practice or seeking some inspiration to sustain yourself, just keep a journal and make a habit of it. Healing from loss, trauma, addiction, or any life's daily challenges and experiences is hard work. It's human work. I hope you find solace in what I've said today. And if you need any help in this area, I'm available to you. Happy writing.